Hey, this is Andrew Norp, and welcome to A Fool's Errand, a podcast where we plan to fail, make mistakes, and learn 12 skills in 12 months. It's episode 6, week 1 of Constitution Month. Today we're going to talk about our plans throughout this month, how we've been going, and any fears and possible hopes we have for our goal. So, if you weren't here last episode, we are taking this month to attempt to familiarize ourselves with early American history, and especially the Constitution. Our ideal outcome is to memorize the Constitution from front to back. I want to be able to recite that thing. This is a little ambitious because, it's a pretty long document, and memorizing things is not always my strong suit, but that's kind of the point. It's to learn, it's to try. And I thought that by shooting for memorizing it, I'm definitely going to become very familiar with it as a document because I'll be reading it so much and studying it and around it and reading other documents about it. So then, in the process, even if I don't memorize it from front to back, I'm going to know it pretty dang well, and that's kind of what we're doing here. Because I'm embarrassed to say I know or at least I knew very little about the Constitution, and I'd still know a very little. But I've learned a lot this week, and I have made my plan for memorization and what I'm going to do. So yeah, we're not going to have as many clips from the field this week. We haven't had a couple in the past couple weeks, but I hope next week we're going to get back into how I'm memorizing every day, back into that almost vlog-like quality. But do know that as I've discovered more about this podcast and this project, that the episodes are going to be a little bit more bite-sized, shorter, and more just updates and thoughts as I'm going along. So this was the first week. I took one Monday to continue trying at chess. I took just like one last day. Tuesday was at recording and editing the podcast, so was Wednesday. Sorry that it came out so late. Like I said in that one, we're going to try to get them out Monday, but it might not always happen. The rest of the week was trying to decide my exact strategy for memorizing the Constitution, becoming familiar with it, because I'm going to be studying that history, reading books about it, watching courses. I found a couple courses I want to watch online, a couple books I want to read, podcasts I want to listen to familiarize myself with the document itself, and then to memorize it, I have discovered a strategy that I hope to implement. I thought that maybe there was like some magic trick to memorizing a really long document and a bunch of words. So I did a lot of studying. I read a little bit of a book on how to memorize stuff, and I watched some courses and read some articles, so I'm basically an expert. No, I did some really surface level study. And it turns out that most strategies for memorizing stuff are for more like things like speeches, where you can have a lot of variance, right? You can just memorize the ideas and then just get really good at communicating them. You don't have to actually memorize it word for word. In fact, it is oftentimes encouraged not to do that. But I am memorizing something word for word. I don't want to just get the general idea of the Constitution. I do, but I think it would be awesome if I could just say it word for word. So it looks like the best strategy out there is also the most simple one, which is just to read it and read it again and read it again and listen to it and recite it and practice, and then eventually, hopefully, I'll have it. And for a second, I'm like, when I realize this, I'm like, oh, so you're saying I have chosen an impossible task? Like, this is not a thing people do. I'm gonna lose. This is impossible. It's an impossible task. But after I did some reading, I discovered there are certain people who do stage plays or whatever, where they're the only character, so they have to have 60-minute monologues they have memorized. And the Constitution's not even 60 minutes long, so people can do it. It can be done. It is physically possible. I have an entire month to do it. Well, we're 7 days into the month, so I have actually, we're 8 days into the month. I'm recording this podcast on Monday again. I'm so sorry for recording this so late again. So we have 22 days. That math was bad, but you get it. So what strategy am I taking? I'm gonna take the mornings to study the document as a document, its history, read books about it, watch courses about it, and just learn more about the government and stuff like that. And then in the afternoons, I have this intense schedule I'm messing with, where basically I go 15 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of working out, 15 minutes of reading, kind of like what I did for chess at the end there. And I have a couple reasons why I want to do this. When I did it for chess and it worked well, it was like amazing. It was one of like the most enjoyable ways to spend my time because it was like your mind's working and your brain's working and those are the same thing. Apparently my brain's not working right now. Your mind's working and your body's working, and then you can like work through all this stress and all these feelings, and when you're working out and then when you're working, you're ready to go because like your body's in full throttle. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's a really like flow state. You're inside of the workflow. And I've also experienced when memorizing things in the past, sometimes I'd spend like a whole hour just like trying to get this one paragraph, and for some reason my brain just would not accept it. And then I'd get up and like walked inside my house like to go to the bathroom, and I'd walk back, and then boom, it would be there. And I would just need that little break, that little bit of physical movement to kind of let it set in. And I know there's like a scientific reason for that. I don't really know what it is, but I know there is one. So I hope that maybe by doing this, I will be able to memorize it faster. It won't be as boring because I'm not just sitting there and reading. I have these built-in breaks. And it won't be as like emotionally tiring because I have these built-in breaks, and then maybe I can memorize it super fast. If I spend like from like noon to like 5 o'clock every day just memorizing, maybe that'll work. Maybe I'll need more time. Maybe I'm going to have to take some time out of my morning study and then maybe some time in the evening. That's what this is kind of about. We're going to have to see. So this week I've found all the courses and books I want to read, and I actually don't have that many. I mean, I'm not going to be spending tons of time studying courses and stuff because I'm going to be doing a lot of memorizing and just like general study. Like I've already learned so much by reading a paragraph and being like, hey, that paragraph doesn't make any sense to me, and then I'd like go and Google it and I'd be like, oh, there's the history behind it, ooba-dooba. And I hope by memorizing it'll have questions like that and I can look them up and then answer them. And just by the little study with the courses, I already understand the Constitution so much better and the podcasts I'm listening to. And maybe as I go along, I'll discover that I want to be reading more books and studying more, and I'll add on. Or maybe I'll discover that I need way more time to memorize, so I'll lower that or whatever. We'll have to see where this goes. I have also started to memorize a teensy bit. I have the prelude or the opening bit. Maybe I can recite that here for you. It's going to be bad. I'm going to mess up a couple times, but we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Funny story real quick. Just like evidence that sometimes like not doing the thing is helpful for doing the thing. I was trying to memorize the Constitution, right? I was spending I was just like trying to memorize that opening bit for about a day. This is a little concerning. It took me about a day and a half to memorize that, and I have 13 pages, and that was about 1/10 of a page. So, hopefully our strategies work and we get better at this as we go. But kind of a little story about how like that learning process can, those breaks can sometimes help, because I was trying to memorize it all day and it wasn't really working. So I went to bed that night, as you do. And I woke up about 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom. And as I was walking to the bathroom, for some reason my brain's like, why don't we just recite the Constitution? And I did it perfectly. I did that first paragraph perfectly. I'm also going to be reading a lot of the documents around the Constitution because they're important, like the Gettysburg Address, the Declaration of Independence, is the Federalist Papers or whatever they're called. Because honestly, I don't really know exactly what all of those are about and what the difference between the Constitution is and them. Like literally, I only learned about 2 days ago the difference between the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And also, I only learned like 4 days ago that the Constitution was not the first thing we had in charge of American government. So that's helpful to know. And also, I think just reading those things will be cool. It'll be a good bragging thing. Like, look how many cool documents I have read. And also, they're pretty. Like, that's what's all kind of nice about the Constitution as I read through it. Is much of it is written very poetically. And also it is, in other places, it's almost mathematical in its language. It is like, if this happens, then this must happen, plus this, then this is the response by the government, which is nice. And in other places, it's like so confusing. I'm like, I understand why we've been arguing about this for like 300 years. So that has been interesting. I have learned a lot of things about the Constitution in these limited days. I know way more than I started, so I bet I'll end this month just like way above my original state, and that's what I'm hoping for, and I've been enjoying it so far, and I hope by the end here, I will be able to know the Constitution super well. But why don't we get on to our segment, How I Failed This Week. How did I fail this week? That is a fantastic question. I did not fail. No, how I failed is I don't actually have it written down anywhere in my schedule on my phone that I record a podcast Friday. And I don't even have that like an obligation. I'm like, I'll just do it Friday. And then oftentimes I don't because things happen. And literally, honestly, I forgot that I do that. And then I forgot until Saturday afternoon. But I already had things scheduled all of Saturday. That's why I'm recording it Monday. So I need to figure out a more efficient way to make sure the things that I schedule to happen. I don't really know how I'm going to deal with this problem. I'm just aware it is a problem. We're going to maybe try to get an app on our phone or maybe like make myself check my journal more or yeah, I'm not entirely sure how we're going to deal with that. But we're going to have to if we want to be effective here, because it's not like I don't have enough time, right? That's one of the common misconceptions in my own personal life with my own brain. And I'm like, I just don't have enough time. But really, no, I spend like a fair amount of time just like sitting there and doing nothing or like scrolling through Reddit. Like, I have time. I just don't have it very well organized some of the time. And it's true. I do not have enough. I think it would be better if I said I do not have enough energy. But that is a problem that can be dealt with. We can't make new time, but we can make new energy. There are strategies to get less tired in our work, to work smarter, not harder, stuff like that. We can produce more energy. Producing time is a much more difficult thing that requires like going like the speed of light or something. So I'm going to try to produce more time in my life because last month I had this problem and this month and most of the months I might have the problem that I might run out of time before I'm able to do the thing. Like the thing's not impossible and I'm not too weak. It's just like a month is a very short period of time as I'm quickly coming to discover. So I need to figure out a way to be more efficient, but without being like burning out super quickly, right? I think sometimes when I'm like, oh, I just need to work constantly, like if I don't have enough time, like no sleep, no eating, don't use the bathroom, we're just gonna work. But that doesn't work because your work is not very efficient there, you're not very happy, and you burn out. So I need to figure out ways to work smarter, not harder, and do the things I have scheduled, and create energy. Maybe like more naps. I'm totally on board with the more nap strategy. If that is what is required, or maybe I need to figure out how to use physical labor in a way that will like relieve stress and give me more energy instead of making me tired. That's what I'm going to be trying to do with the memorization process, but that might not work. And also with like social engagements, I can't be hanging out with friends all the time. That's a waste of time. But if I don't hang out with friends at all, I get even more tired and lonely. So I need to figure out like what's the right amount here. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on this week, as well as memorization. If you guys have any good strategies or anything, it would be great if you could send them to me. I listen to a couple podcasts and like I've read like, parts of books about like being efficient. I'm pretty much an expert, but I don't know any like... nothing so far has like worked magically 100% of the time for me, and I don't think anything actually ever does that for anyone. But still, I want to try to discover something that maybe fits me. Maybe I'll have to come up with my own system. Maybe I'll have to use someone else's. We'll have to see. I mean, my daily schedule right now, I have one. It's like, memorize in the afternoon, study in the morning, but it's not very exact. Maybe we need a more exact system. Maybe we need a less exact system. Maybe we need a daily checklist. We'll have to see. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to come... I hope that by next week I'll be able to tell you how I solved this problem. Most podcasts, I tell you a problem and then I tell you how I solved it. And this one, I don't have the solution to this problem as of yet. And I still kind of don't have the solution to how I'm going to memorize it. But we're going to have to see how that works out. Honestly, since what I learned from last month, I have not been like super worried this month because I'm like, hey, I finished the month. I don't have it memorized. Too bad. I'm still going to know a lot about the Constitution compared to when I started. Of course, I want to have it memorized. I'm going to throw myself fully into trying to do that, but I'm not scared. Because fear doesn't help, which is nice. There was about a 1 hour stretch after reading this section of a book that told you how to memorize stuff where like all of his advice did not apply to me whatsoever. So I was like, oh, are you saying that like there's no way to memorize this long of a document? And I started to freak out. But then I'm like, wait a second. Okay, maybe there isn't. Then that's chill. Also, we may as well try. I mean, like, what's it going to hurt to try? It's kind of a fun challenge. Let's see, can you? And if I don't, maybe I'll learn a lot about memorizing stuff in W. It's obviously physically possible. There are very few things which just, like, aren't humanly possible. Like, those are the laws of physics you have to break. And I don't think, like, memorizing 5,000 words breaks the laws of physics. Because, as I've said, I've memorized a ghost walk. Oh, and on this note, I thought that memorizing my ghost walks were 5,000 words. I double-checked. I don't know where I got this wrong, but they're each about 2,000 words, 2,000 to 3,000 words. And I have two different versions of the Ghost Walk, a Christmas one and a normal one. So when you add that together, that's about 4,000 words. So I have memorized 4,000 words of stuff. It just happened that those 4,000 words are separate, but I mean, I can still do both of those ghost walks with ease, so still it's 4,000 words. I think where the 5,000 word stat came from is after I wrote all my Christmas ghost stories, they ended up being 5,000 words, but I edited them down majorly because they were way too chunky. That's what's going on here. I feel pretty at ease, pretty chill. As far as other previous projects, chess, I've been playing a chess game a day. I haven't lost one yet, so that's good. So my chess score, it's rising. We're not at 1,600, but we're getting close. So maybe I'll get to 1,600 this month. I have also been teaching Jude chess. I've not been doing it as consistently as I wish, so I think I'm going to maybe try to program that into my new schedule. But he's been having fun. I've been having fun, and he's really good at chess. Like, my first instinct that Jude might be good at chess from my limited, like, me watching him play a couple games has been majorly proved by me teaching him a little strategy and playing a few games with him. Like, Jude was way more difficult to defeat than almost all adults I have ever played. If he, like, played at, like, a local children's championship in, like, a school, not, like, for, like, actual chess players, but just, like, in a school of, just like in an elementary school, they did like a little chess championship, he'd win. And yeah, there were multiple times where like I would make a move and I'd be like, this kid's not going to see it coming. I mean, like, what does he think, multiple moves ahead? And then he would like make the best move in response. And for a bit, I thought he was just getting lucky. Like he was just happening to make the goods to like stop my plans. Cause I would ask him, I'd be like, Jude, why did you make that move? And then he'd be like, I don't really know. And then I'd be like, well, so he just made a move and it happened to be good. But he did it so much and so consistently that I think Jude, like, on some level knows that his moves are stopping my plans. Because it can't just be luck that many times. But he just doesn't really know how to explain it, how he thought that. So that's kind of it's impressive. It's amazing. Jude will be way better at chess than me. If I am not mistaken, then, like, within 4 years, my chances of ever beating Jude again will be 0. So that's good news. I'm going to make a chess grandmaster out of that kid. And that's my plan. So chess has been good. I was kind of afraid that after chess month, I'd be like, I've played so much chess, I never want to look at a chessboard again. And for about one day, it was like that. Before, I was watching videos about how to learn chess, but the same videos oftentimes talk about chess championships and review games. And I just like happen to start watching them for entertainment. And I start to play games, and like, I enjoy chess more now. Like, I was afraid that maybe I'd get tired out, but no, I enjoy it more. I like it, and I think I will go the rest of my life and continue to play chess because of how much I like it now. I like it a lot. It's so fun to watch. It's so fun to play. It's a lot of fun to think about, especially because the stakes are so low now. It's just like, I'll just throw in and play a game or watch this video about it or whatever. So that's fun. In memorizing the Constitution so far, I've had a very little moments where I do not like it. I mean, it's been pretty enjoyable. It's a cool document. There's a lot of cool history there. The government's interesting. And as an author, I keep being like, interesting stuff for world building or like coming up with like governments and stories. And just a little caveat about the Constitution real quick. I am aware that, like all documents, it is flawed on some level. It was made by flawed men, but I do honestly believe that the men who made it were, for their time, ahead, and they were making a document which is really important to our government and a really solid document that has lasted so long and so well, that is built in the idea of liberty and freedom, though it does have some paradoxes in that way almost, where it is a little hypocritical, but really it is about freedom and a lot of things I find really important. So that's why I find it so important to memorize. It is based to our government. It is an important document. It is a really true document in a lot of ways, and so I find it personally something that I should understand. And really, about this podcast, I know I've said this before, but this podcast is about my process. So I'm not really trying to hide anything. I was a little afraid, like, maybe I should like, try to hide the fact that I'm terrified or whatever, maybe I should make it sound like the process was cleaner. I just went right to, like, succeeding or whatever. But no, this is like a journal entry almost. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm thinking and feeling. And honestly, through the study I've been doing, I've only liked the founding fathers more. I mean, they have flaws, obviously, but the more I learn about them, and the more I'm like, these guys were pretty ahead of their time with their ideas about freedom and liberty and all people having like an innate rights and such. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of A Fool's Errand. I hope it came out on Monday. Like I said, we're gonna have to try to figure out schedules so I can actually make them come out on Monday in future. I hope you guys have found this interesting and fun. Next week, I'll come back and tell you my progress on memorizing the Constitution, what I have learned, maybe some fun facts we found out in the process. How much Hamilton I've been listening to, because tell you what, it was a lot before, but now that I have an excuse to say it as an educational thing, I'm listening to it all the time. How I figured out that problem of scheduling and such, where Jude is in learning chess, and I think that's all of the things we need to update you guys on. If you liked this episode or the podcast, it would be great if you could leave a review, preferably with 5 stars. I mean, if you like the episode and you leave a 1-star review, that just seems like a weird way to communicate that. If you want to get in contact with us, you can do that at a Fool's Errand Pod on Twitter or a foolserrandpod@gmail.com. You can also go to our YouTube channel, which I'm sorry to say I'm slow at updating. The podcasts are not coming out quite as consistently on the YouTube channel because it requires like 2 seconds of extra effort to do. I should really get better at getting the episodes out on there as well. We will try our best at that. On YouTube, someone commented, Mara Zarakawi, I pronounced that 100% wrong, commented and shared a little bit of a story from them that was I found extremely interesting and wise. They said, I failed my bio test last week, so I started to cry and telling myself how much of an idiot I am. I prepared very well for that exam, but what stopped me was the fear of failure. I was anxious and stressed for nothing. I was scared of a paper. Most of the time when I fail, it's because of stress and anxiety and fear of failure, and this is my problem as a perfectionist. I see a perfect world. I see that success is all I want, but I need to step back and enjoy life as it's up and down, and no one succeeds without failing. Andrew, I think you really love chess, so stop putting deadlines for your learning journey. Who cares how much points you will earn? The most important thing is enjoying the process of learning. Good luck with your project. Thank you so much for that. That is so true. I think sometimes we can get so locked in on this one idea about what is success, when success is so many things. It's not just these one ideas, this one point score, this one number. So yeah, I think I'm learning that as we go along, and hopefully we can all learn that together. Learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make them. And I will try to get these episodes out on YouTube. Maybe I can get both of them up to date. We can have 2 episodes up together. I've kind of been doing that a couple times. It's a little sad and embarrassing. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you guys have a good week. I plan to put how much I've memorized, just like me reciting it, after the end of the music. So the music will cut out and there might be a couple minutes or just like 30 seconds of extra stuff. And that's just me reciting. That's for a couple reasons. A, I don't think you guys want to listen to me every week, like getting a little closer to reciting the whole thing. B, it's a way of keeping myself accountable and like actually reciting it. And W, if you do want to hear me trying to recite it, it'll be there. You can hear my progress go along. So yeah, when the music fades out, you can stick around or you can just tune out, whatever you feel like. But thank you so much for listening. Hope y'all have a good week. Love y'all. Keep failing. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I think I messed up a bit. I'm always forgetting to add the in front of general welfare and common defense. I think I did the rest right, though. Did I not say the United States of America? Did I just say the United States? Who knows? But that's where I am at right now. And I like that opening bit. It's kind of pretty sounding. But it's very wordy. That's one sentence, guys. It's a long sentence.